World UFO Day will be celebrated on July 2nd this year in Washington, D.C. It's a peaceful rally will be staged with speakers communicating with the public. Alex C. Tolmay, a Democratic candidate for US Congress in 2022, is a spokesperson for the day. He joins us now. Hi, Alex. How are you?
Hey, Dean. How's it going?
Really good. A World UFO Day. It sounds exciting. Why dedicate a particular day of the year to UFOs? Is this like an awareness campaign?
Well, it seems like today in the 21st century, there's a holiday for just about everything, doesn't it, Dean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think the creators of World UFO Day thought it was important for people to think about this strange phenomenon that's been happening since the 1940s or before then even. So I'm just happy to be organizing this event. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be a political rally in Washington, D.C., and I was hoping we could talk more about that.
So what will the format of the day be?
Basically, on my end, it's a little bit more entailed. Delivery of equipment starts the day before. We have to get the stage set up, the podium. There's going to be 200. There's going to be seating for 200 people, and but the permit allows for up to 500 people. So we're hoping to get at least 200 people to sit in those seats to watch the rally, and for an additional 300 people to either sit in the grass or stand in the areas nearby the seats. So that's what we're hoping for.
Will the people there recognize the speakers that you're organizing? Are they people that we'll know?
Yeah, it's pretty hush hush right now, but we're looking to get some guest speakers that lead the field in ufology, and perhaps even a guest speaker. So that is all pretty much hush hush at this point. We don't want that to leak out, but we do expect there to be some guest speakers and some surprise speakers. And I think as we get closer to the event, we'll be able to inform people who exactly is going to be there. But right now, it's still pretty much in the planning phases.
Okay. So why the idea of a World UFO Day?
Well, the field of ufology has come a long way in just the past 3 years. On December 16th, 2017, the New York Times published a groundbreaking and historic article entitled Glowing Auras and Black Money, the Pentagon's Mysterious UFO Program. And I think that was really the first time that a mainstream news media outlet gave serious attention and investigation to the UFO phenomenon. So now that the UFO phenomenon is in the mainstream consciousness, I thought it was important to hold a rally just weeks after an unclassified report is due to Congress and Senate from the intelligence community.
Yep.
As you know, Donald Trump, before he left office, he signed the COVID relief and spending bill, which has a stipulation in it that says that the U.S. intelligence community had 180 days to submit what they know about the UFO phenomenon to Congress and Senate. So this is going to be big. A lot of ufologists say that we're going to get disclosure at the end of June, but we'll see. One of two things could happen. So we could get a partial disclosure or a full disclosure even, or nothing will happen. Either the U.S. intelligence community will continue to promote official denial, and we'll just get some facts and figures and nothing more. But if that happens, then it's important for everybody in the UFO community to rally in Washington, D.C., to put maximal pressure on President Biden to disclose the truth about extraterrestrial life.
You talk about partial disclosure or soft disclosure. I think we've been getting that now for a long time. I guess it's just the fact that we need, branches like the government to make that official. But you're aware of the work that the Paradigm Research Group makes with Stephen Bassett at the head?
Yes, Stephen Bassett is a friend of mine. I consider him a friend. I've been sending emails back and forth with him since I was a intern at the United Nations. Uh, I,
Mm-hmm.
I, I at one point I wanted to work for him at the Paradigm Research Group
Yep.
as a lobbyist. That didn't work out, but yes, I'm familiar with his work.
Yeah. Has what you're doing got the blessing of the Paradigm Research Group?
I haven't run it past Mr. Bassett, but I'm pretty sure he's also a good friend of Melissa Kennedy, who was the host of the UFO Woman back when I did my 2020 interview
Right.
on the UFO Woman as part of my 2020 campaign. As you know, I've been running for Congress to promote extraterrestrial disclosure in 2018, in 2020, but withdrew from both races early. But this year in 2022, I'm going all the way. I'm going to run for Congress. And I haven't run it past Stephen Bassett, but I'm pretty sure he would approve of the work I'm doing. And who knows, maybe he could even be one of our guest speakers.
Okay. Okay. Have you been getting like any pushback or opposition to running a day like this from from I guess the people in the shadows type thing?
I don't want to say that I've been receiving a lot of pushback because I really have not. I think I really think that in 2021, with all the revelations we've been having in terms of unclassified documents, reports, and videos, I think the U.S. government really understands that this secret can't be kept forever or indefinitely. I think they're really getting to the point where they're kind of just letting this happen. Um, but no, I mean, it's a real legal process. The National Park Service has a permit process. Um, you submit Form 10941 and you sign it and you stipulate that it's a First Amendment demonstration. And there's not really much they can do to block you at that point.
Right.
Because as U.S. citizens, we have the constitutional right to assemble, to peacefully assemble, to protest, to picket. That's our constitutional right, and they can't take that away from us.
Mm-hmm. Are you getting any help, say, from the media, especially the mainstream media? And do you believe that the mainstream media is innocent in its efforts to keep a lid on the UFO topic?
Well, I think historically speaking, the CIA has had assets at all the major news media outlets. And perhaps some of these news media outlets have been instructed to ease off of this subject. But I haven't necessarily been getting any help from the news media. I don't know if they're going to want to cover this event. But if there are 500 people that picket in front of the White House, I think that'll be a significant event, especially on World UFO Day. So hopefully it does attract the news media to be there. Mm-hmm. And hopefully we can garner some international attention and domestic attention here at home.
Right, right. So what would be the best way for people who can't make it to Washington to celebrate that day?
Well, this event is going to be live streamed on YouTube. So as the weeks and months here start to go by, we will be putting up a link and you will be able to watch it from the comfort of your own home on YouTube. The World UFO Day Rally 2021 in Washington, D.C. Okay. It's gonna be at the Ellipse Park, which is the President's Park in nearby the White House. It starts at 1 p.m. Speeches start at 1 p.m. Like I said, there's gonna be guest speakers there. We're gonna have surprise guests. Speeches are gonna be 3 hours. They end at 3 p.m. And then after that, we're gonna transit from the Ellipse Park area all the way to the White House sidewalk and do a continuous picket protest at the White House. That's going to be until 9 p.m.
Right. Okay. So it sounds like a pretty full day. Alex, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think people actually trust the government to tell them the truth when it comes to UFOs?
Actually, there was a Pew Research Center poll conducted in 2019, and 68% of people that participated in the survey believe that the US government is keeping UFOs a secret in the United States. That 68% believe in UFO secrecy, 68%. So that's a significant margin. I think that Americans know that something is up and something is being covered up. So I think the atmosphere right now in the United States is pretty good. I think a lot of people will support this movement, Dean.
Okay. Do you think that percentage number would translate across the rest of the world as well? Do you think other governments around the world are as as guarded with their secrets on UFOs?
I don't exactly know. I haven't seen any facts or figures, but I would assume that with Hollywood doing what they're doing in terms of sci-fi fiction movies, movies about aliens and UFOs, I would assume that the rest of the world is pretty much where Americans are, maybe even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've often cited Hollywood as being part of the soft disclosure that's going on. It's been going on for a long time, and it just seems that there's uncanny resemblance with what Hollywood does, and then what's discovered later on in real life. But so, why do you believe people are being kept in the dark about UFOs and aliens?
That's an interesting question. I believe that in the 1940s, when the modern era of UFOs began, why didn't the government come clean about little small gray bodies that were recovered in Roswell, New Mexico? Well, I think that there are 7 or 8 billion people on the planet Earth, and a secret of this scale and magnitude has the potential to transform society completely. I mean, we would have to literally rewrite the history books. And I think that at that time in 1947, the US military made a decision to not tell the public the truth because they didn't think the public would be able to handle it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Perhaps it would have caused religious panic and pandemonium. But it just wasn't the right time. They decided to prolong the inevitable. But the good news is that a secret of this scale and magnitude cannot be kept forever. It's already leaked out. There's been documents. There's been videos. There have been whistleblowers. This is bound to happen, and it's time for it to happen. That's why we're going to assemble in Washington, D.C. at the Ellipse to put pressure on the Biden administration to disclose finally to the public the truth about extraterrestrial life so we can move forward as a human species.
Yeah. Alex, do you think deep down, and I've, as a journalist, my charter is always, skepticism. And when I hear the government saying that they're going to do this, or they're doing things like releasing videos showing UFOs and then saying, well, we'll talk about disclosure. But to me, it's always watching one hand and seeing what the other one does. But I mean, do you believe that they would be true to their word, even later this year when they're supposed to release what they actually have on UFOs?
This is another very interesting question, Dean, because part of this COVID relief and spending bill stipulated that, like we talked about earlier, the U.S. intelligence community has 180 days to release what they know about the UFO phenomenon. So if we have a situation where the Director of National Intelligence and the Secretary of Defense are lying to Congress and Senate, then that creates a problem. That would be a very big problem. So it's going to be very interesting to see exactly what the Director of National Intelligence and the Secretary of Defense come up with in this unclassified report. If it's more of the same, if it's just facts and figures about UFO site reporting and keeping, then we have to wonder, what are our leaders being told about this phenomenon? Are they being kept in the dark just like we are? And then it starts to bring up the question, is there a cabal? Is there a group of people in the United States and worldwide that is controlling this secret? And we have to think about how are we going to deal with this? That's what we'll have to start thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, I consider the UFO topic the worst kept secret in human history. I mean, it's out. I mean, it's out. It just needs to be confirmed. So you're running as a Democratic candidate in 2022, but you ran as an independent twice before. Why did you decide to align yourself with one of the two parties?
Well, I ran as an independent. I ran with no party affiliation in 2018 to promote C4FC, which is Christians for First Contact USA back then. Now it's global. And then I ran in 2020 as an independent candidate, but I withdrew early from that race. And now I'm filed as a Democrat because I feel like, I'm only 33 years old, Dean. I'm a young man. And my spiritual and political views and values are constantly evolving. I just feel like I've really found a home within the Democratic Party. So that's where I'm going to run in 2022.
Well, it seems from what I can gather is that there seems to be a better chance that disclosure will happen under the Democrats than it will with the Republicans. Is that something that you see as well?
Yeah, there's a very strong influence of neoconservatism in the Republican Party, and the neocons basically believe that they're very strong believers in secrecy. They rule by secrecy, and the Democrats, the liberals, are much more open about. They're much more truthful and transparent. Their government tends to be like that. So I think you're right, Dean. I think we do have a better chance to get disclosure. I mean, look, they're allowing this event to take place, so that's a good sign, right?
Yep, for sure. Alex, if you win your seat in 2022 and head to Washington to represent your district and the UFO community, do you believe that you can have any sort of an impact in bringing UFOs out into the open?
Yeah, I think that if the good people of Tampa Bay see fit to elect me to the 118th Congress in 2022, that I have a pretty good chance, even if we don't get disclosure this summer, I have a pretty good chance of putting a lot of pressure on the president and Congress because they know exactly who I am. They know exactly what I stand for, and that's not going to change anytime soon. So if I get elected, you can rest assured that I'm going to put a lot of pressure on Congress and the president to disclose the truth about extraterrestrial life.
Okay. Have you faced any threatening situations in your efforts to garnish UFO disclosure? Has your life been in danger at all?
Well, Dean, I'm a psychic medium, and back in 2012, I began being monitored by ET and government psychic surveillance. I don't know if you've ever heard of Project Stargate, but back in the 1970s, U.S. Army soldiers and Defense Intelligence Agency operators were tasked with clairvoyance and telepathic missions,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe that project went defunct in the 1990s. But I believe it kept going, and I believe the psychic surveillance program was expanded. So basically, I believe that psychic surveillors are surveilling private citizens, and I believe I'm one of those targeted individuals. And so via telepathy is where I've been getting threatened and pressured the most.
Right.
Telepathy.
Yeah. Is there a reason why you would be one of those people targeted? Have you got abilities that that they're interested in?
Dean, I have no, all I know is that I was a graduate student at Columbia University in New York City when I began hearing voices in my mind. Some of them are extraterrestrial, some of them are spiritual, and some of them are government psychic surveillance. That's all I know.
Okay, so in actual fact, you're what we term as an experiencer.
Yes, Dean, I believe that would be safe to say.
Okay, and you keep pretty close tabs on what's going on out there as far as contact experiences go. And again, we talk about disclosure and soft disclosure with millions of people who report being abducted or being in contact with ETs. That's why I said before that this is the worst kept secret in human history.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if it's the worst kept secret in human history, but uh, you're right that a lot has leaked out about this secret. But I wanted to switch gears for a moment and talk about one thing. It is particularly interesting that I am a Christian,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I created C4FC back in 2017 after I was an intern at the United Nations because I saw that there was a need to educate the Christian community. Christians have traditionally led the way in society in terms of hospitals, orphanages, science. And I think it's time for the Christian community to lead the way in terms of UFOs and extraterrestrial life. The Pope hasn't said a lot of things. Not a lot of pastors are taking the lead on this issue. And I think it's important that Christians understand that UFOs are piloted by extraterrestrial beings. And there's actually extraterrestrial life inside the moon, inside the earth, under our oceans. And we are surrounded by extraterrestrial life. It's just that the powers that be, whether they be a Luciferian cabal or not, which is what I suspect, they're keeping the secret for psychological and governmental control of the masses. That's what I believe.
Okay. Do you think, I mean, you mentioned the Pope, you mentioned pastors within the Christian community. Do you think a lot of these people will stay quiet just for fear of ridicule and, within their certain communities?
Well, as you know, Dean, the Bible doesn't really get too in detail about extraterrestrial life. There are a few quotes about Nephilim, which most people believe are fallen angels, but there's virtually nothing in the Bible about UFOs. Or there is,
It depends how you interpret it.
Depends how it's all a matter of interpretation. Okay, so Ezekiel was supposedly, Elijah was taken away in a chariot of fire, which some people believe was a UFO. So there may be some other interpretations that you can derive that seem to suggest UFOs or aliens. But basically, on a surface level, there's not much about UFOs or aliens in the Bible. So Christians don't have much to go on. So that's why, that's one of the reasons why we want disclosure so badly is for the Christian community.
Okay.
They need to be told the truth because right now they're living in a dogmatic bubble.
One last question, and I did ask this earlier too, but I just wanted to once again ask, so in all reality, deep down in your bones, do you believe that you'll see disclosure in your lifetime?
Yes, yes. Dean, I do believe I'll see disclosure in my lifetime. I believe it'll be sometime in the next few years. And then we got to start thinking after disclosure, right? After the revelation that we humans are not alone in the universe, what will happen? Will there be a first contact event of the first open, public, and diplomatic meeting between extraterrestrials and mankind? Will it happen? And after that, how will it affect our religious systems? That's why I created Omnigian. Omnigian is a new age religion of the future to bring together the people of Earth and all of the religions of Earth together in the spirit of peace and plurality. I highly suggest that you all check that out on www.omnigion.com.
Alex, I guess the other thing too with disclosure is what a lot of people don't probably think about right now, but there's probably going to be a good degree of anger if disclosure is announced, because all this secrecy has cost lives along the way. People have lost their lives, have lost their careers, they've lost their reputations. Now, if you know, whoever it is suddenly comes out and says, okay, yes, UFOs are real, aliens are real, they've been real since the year dot. Can you imagine the anger that's going to cause, you know, around the world for people that have been affected by this?
Yeah, I can imagine it'll cause quite a bit of anger and pushback and media praise, but it has to happen. It's something that has to happen in order for the human family to move forward. I mean, we've been living in the dark ages for a long time, but once we get this revelation that we are not alone in the universe, we'll be able to join the greater community of planets, and it'll be for the best. It'll be for the betterment of all mankind. So if there are people out there that get angry and perhaps even heads will roll, but who knows? We'll see, Dean.
Yeah, I think the law courts will be pretty busy after disclosure too for quite some time. Alex, World UFO Day. So give us the date again.
All right, the date is Friday, July 2nd, 2021. Speeches start at 1 p.m. They run until 4 p.m., I'm sorry. And then there will be a continuous picket protest at the White House sidewalk from 5 to 9 p.m.
Okay, can people go to a website to get more information?
Yes, the website is www.ufoactivist.com.
Okay, and I'll put that up on our page as well. Thanks, Alex. Been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thanks, Dean. It was been a pleasure speaking with you as well.
Alex C. Tolmay joining us today.